Hey guys, today I'd like to talk to you about pedal boards, specifically pedal boards for keyboard players. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would a keyboard player need a pedal board? The long and short answer is, we got a lot of pedals. Just as many, if not more sometimes, than a guitar player does. Rarely more. Guitar players are kind of into their pedals, if you know what I mean. But as a keyboard player, I have many shoes to fill in the specific bands that I play in. I'm a working musician, and at any given week I could be playing between 3 to 5 shows per week. So what I'd like to do today is kind of run through my own personal pedal board. Yours could be different. And I'd like to show you what I use, why I use what I use, and hopefully come up with some solutions to make the workflow a little bit better. Because for me, I don't get to see my pedal board as much as some guitar players get to see theirs, because it's hidden underneath my keyboard rig. So, without further ado, here we go. Okay, very first thing we're gonna do is gonna have a nice clean surface to work on. And what I'm gonna do here, because I don't wanna ruin my desk, is I'm gonna take some of these old towels that I have, and we're gonna place these across the work surface. What is that? My pedal board is a little wide, so I'm going to use 2 of these towels. Nice and flat because OCD reasons. Alright, let's get this turned around here where you can see it. This is the Rock Case pedal board system. It's really old, but I've had it for, gosh, 18 years, give or take. Alright, so pop this open. This is not a fantastic case, but it has served my purposes. I'm thinking about building a custom pedal board soon. Get ready, guys. Holy cow. Look at all the cables. Just before I start to dig through all these cables, just initially you can see got some power supplies here, got a volume pedal here, and you can see mic mechanic peeking up through there, over there. So here we go. Here comes the big reveal. What have we got in the pedal board? Well, I kind of started using my pedal board as a gig bag also, which is probably lazy, but I play a lot of shows, and eventually what I want to create is kind of a stake that I can just pop the board open, send all the cables where they're going to go. And we got ourselves kind of a mess here. So today, as we're watching this, as I run through, I'm going to be unplugging everything and showing you why I use what I use. And let's start here. This is the Moog Expression pedal. Now, why do I use this? I've got, my main keyboard is a Nord Electro 5D, and if you are a B3 player, you already know you need an expression pedal. This one has served my purposes, might be getting replaced at some point with the Yamaha, I believe it's the FC7, or it could be EC7. My model numbers get mixed up sometimes. So that is followed by an on-stage gear sustain pedal. Now this switch over here I use as a switch for the Leslie on the Electro 5D. I do not travel with a full-size real Leslie. There is no way. A, I can't fit it in my car, and B, it's just too much gear for me to haul around 3 to 5 nights a week. Some of you can do it. If you can, I applaud you. Now you might be wondering, why on earth do I have a Sans Amp bass driver? because I am also the band's bass player. I play left-hand bass, but I also run a true 4-string Stingray through here, and I play bass for the band also. Then moving over here, I've got the Pro 2 DI radial. This is a stereo direct box, and I really like it. It's got everything on it that I need. It's got pads. It's got the pass-throughs, just like most. Now the only thing I don't like about it, these are 15 dB pads, which I feel is like overkill sometimes. However, it's one of the only stereo DIs on the market that is kind of affordable, and that I really like. Plus, it's got its own ground on it. Now I've tried to get around all the ground issues by using decent power. Power is not reliable 9 times out of 10, and so that's why I started using this product that I love. Started using this years and years ago. This is the Furman Power Block. And of course, it looks just like a power strip, but Furman has done a really good job of passing electricity through the block, cleaning it up, and sending it back so that you've got a nice linear, stable flow of electricity at your disposal. I mentioned the mic mechanic earlier. It's because I also sing, and instead of relying on the house tech to give me a good, clear microphone signal, what I do is, if you notice, this has a tone button on it, and what this tone button does is it automatically takes your signal, listens to it, puts EQ, compression, and all of the other leveling effects that you would need on it, so that you get a nice, smooth microphone signal. And this helps because I don't use very expensive microphones live. Sometimes I use cheap ones. Right now I am actually using a good microphone. This is the Shure Beta 87A. It's a phantom powered microphone. This unit has phantom powered this microphone. But a lot of times I'll use the Cobalt EV. This is a $40 microphone. It's not a great mic, but most of the time it'll do what I need it to do. And when I said that I treat my pedal board like a gig bag, it's true. I keep both of these microphones on me in case one goes down, just in case. And usually I'll just carry it around like that, put the lid on, and it travels. It's fine. So one of the things you might be asking yourself is, why do I have my pedal board sideways? Most people will put their gear together with all the stuff laid out this way. And the reason that I don't is because as a keyboard player, I play with an X stand, and X stands do not leave room at the bottom unless you have them folded all the way out for this configuration. So what I figured out a couple of years ago was, if I just turn this sideways, I can put all the pedals that I need kind of roughly in this configuration, and I should be able to get to them all. I feel like right now would be a good time to start taking everything out, and then we're going to put it back in. Oh, the cat hair. So I've put these Velcro strips that I bought at Walmart. These are heavy-duty Velcro strips, but when you do, especially on these sustain pedals, they have these polarity switches on the bottom. So you want to be careful that you don't cover that up, because during a show, if you need to switch polarity for any reason, this is going to drive you insane. But I keep the Velcro on there to keep everything in place, obviously. This is a newer addition to the board, so I haven't put Velcro on here yet, but we are probably going to change that today. The cable mess is probably the #1 thing that keyboard players and guitar players alike will have in common as to the problems that we face putting a pedal board together. Take that out. And this, my friends, goodness. This is the pad that came off of my little Leslie trigger, but I don't really need it, so I think I'm just going to take it out of the box and not worry about putting it back in. Got to decide how to do this. I do know that all of my piano playing is going to depend on being able to get to the sustain pedal. So I usually like to put this right here. I'm not changing it very much. Since it's got that Velcro on it, we're going to just jam it into place. And as you can see, I've got a little cable wrap here because I was kind of doing a makeshift snake idea to begin with. And I'm going to keep that. But I think we're also going to clean it up just a little bit. So we'll do the same thing with the trigger over here. I recently got busted on my cable wrapping abilities. Now, the Moog Expression pedal has a little bit of a dilemma because it has a removable cable slot right here. It's not like these that are fixed, and I kind of like that because I've already had one cable die on me, but I already know that I like to have my Expression pedal on my right foot. So we're going to put that there, and I usually will angle it just a hair, as when you're sitting, your right foot just kind of naturally wants to poke outward or face outward. Here is this cable. Okay, what to do next? Now, I already know that this will fit here, but I'm just kind of wondering if maybe I should put it here. The problem with the mic mechanic, which by the way I didn't mention earlier, so this is your tone button. Now this button down here obviously turns the effects on and off. The tone button, once you put that on, it's on the whole time. So that's great. And it keeps your signal nice and level. But this button is for these effects on the knob. You got echo, and so you've got your old school tape delay, and you've got a digital echo, you've got a slapback echo, which I usually like the slapback, and I'll just put it halfway, which sounds like a lot, but really for this pedal it's not. Reverb, I like to keep it in the club setting. And again, it's about halfway, so not too much reverb. And then with the pitch correction, you can really go crazy. This has a pitch correction function on it. You can really go crazy with that. I don't like to go crazy because I'm a trained singer. So I like to just keep just enough that if I'm not paying attention, it'll just kind of pull that note where it needs to go. All right, so I can either put this here, or I can put it back in the position it was. But the problem I started to mention was that when I play the sustain pedal, I've got to be careful because I don't want my foot kicking this knob and getting it out of whack. So I guess I can try this, and if it doesn't work, I can always move it. So until I figure out exactly where I'm going to put everything, I think I'm not going to tape this down like I did with this, this, and this. These I know that I'm going to use in those positions. This one, not sure. I have encountered a little issue lately, which is that the Furman is taking up a lot of space. But the problem that I have is that if I put it on its side, if you're wondering why I've got so much cat hair in there, it's because I have 2 cats and the hair just is everywhere, man. No matter how much I roll this thing. Okay. So here is an issue I keep running into with this. So I can't really put it like that. That's just gonna cause too many problems. So maybe if I put it this way over here, yeah, let's try that. In fact, I'm gonna give a little bit of space. How about if I did this? Yeah, okay, we're gonna try that. Actually, no, this is what we'll do. We'll put it here, put this here, put this here. And then that should give me, once I get this kind of in a place where I want to try to keep it, that should give me enough room here in this region of the board to keep cables and whatnot. Okay. So, first things first, let's unwrap these again. Sorry for all the surface noise on the camera mount there. Now, one thing that I've never done, and I guess I could do, is run these specifically this way. And on this guy, I also need to make sure I give plenty of space because the DI output for this is on the side. And if you're not familiar with these, you have an input and you do have a 1/4 inch output, and you can boost that 1/4 inch out. However, for my purposes, I'm going to use this as a DI also. So this DI out is on the side. And it just kind of naturally wants to fall that way. So I'm not going to try to change the course of the tide here. I think I'm going to just put this through there, let that be that. Now the question is, do I run the mic cables for this guy? And do I wrap them with this? And I say, why not? So I'm using a 1 spot. Plug that in there. Keep that right there. The only problem with these 1 spots is look how much cable is left over. Just plug that in. Hopefully that'll stay. It's probably going to be a mess still. This is a 1/4 inch cable I keep in there for, I don't know why. Okay, this is a really long Mogami. By the way, I like to use Mogami cables, and they are a little bit more expensive. but they can take a beating, and the best thing about them is they have a lifetime warranty, which means 50 years from now when the thing wears out, I'll just take it back and get a new one, and then I'll play 1 gig and then die. This, going back to this mic mechanic, it has 2 XLR sockets on it. One is for your mic input. That means that this signal is going to go to your, it's not a signal going to anywhere, it's your microphone is sending the signal to this unit, and then it's got an out for sending your signal to the board. So we got this, we're going to hook that up first. And actually, let's swap that, because this cable is not as long as the other one that I just picked up, which is fine. Because I don't need that much to go to my microphone. Okay, so I need to have like 3 different layers is what I'm seeing. I need to have microphone layer. So let's go ahead and actually, I gotta make a crucial decision here. I could just play and use these cables after you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna make an executive decision because these cables are just kind of out of control. Now, I will keep this microphone cable in here at all times, hooked up to the mic mechanic. Again, sorry for all the surface noise. The tripod, I just knocked it a little bit. Sorry about that. So this will be specifically for the mic mechanic. Now these cables, I still want to go ahead and run these through like this. And let's get these tied up here. The one thing I'm trying to avoid is having to do this again real soon. But honestly, most likely we're going to have to do it again. So, oh, and there's one thing that I forgot, and that is my DI. Where's my DI going to go? Which, by the way, I forgot to mention earlier. My DI, the reason that I like this is because it is a stereo DI. Now, usually on these shows that I play, I'm running mono, and I'll run through the left in and out. But I do like the option of being able to run stereo if I can or if I need to. So we could just put this. Let's put this here. Let's put it sideways, shall we? Now I've got another power cable that I like to keep in here at all times, and that is my keyboard power cable. So I'll just go ahead and plug that in. It's already wound. So let's keep that there. Now we need power for this guy. And I pirated the wall wart off of my Boss RT120. So I'm gonna use that there. Again, this is terrible. Let me rewrap this. So, right side in, correct side in. And let's Let's get this right. Now, why am I wadding this like this? It's crazy. It seems wasteful. No, actually, because I got one of these handy cable ties. This cable tie is going to go right here. And we're going to keep this bundled so that it doesn't take up any more space than it has to. So there's that. This is the actual cable that's going to go to my keyboard. Again, Mogami, because Mogami is awesome. So that's going to go to my left input. I really like just having this up and ready to go at all times. So don't think that my idea of having some kind of a snake is going to work unless you out there have an idea. Because the problem is that I have too many components here. If it was all running to the same place, maybe I can do that. Okay, so we'll keep that there. Okay, at this point, let's stop and assess a couple of things. So the way this is going to work, is everything powered? Yes. Power. This has a microphone in, and not an out. We're going to keep those microphone cables separate now. Okay, so let's do a little rundown here. What pedals do I use one more time? I'm using an expression pedal, a sustain pedal, a microphone pedal. It's basically a preamp. I'm using a Leslie trigger for the Leslie effect on my Nord 5 Electro D. 5D. I'm using a power block. I'm using a Tech 21 Sansamp bass driver DI. I'm using a Radial Engineering Pro D2. I have to think about the way that I'm going to lay all of these things in there because I need to figure out what I need to get to first. So the last thing, actually the first thing I need to grab needs to be last in. So this cable needs to be the last in because it needs to be the first out. Okay. Oh, by the way, the other reason that I really like these Furman power blocks is because the power cable on these, the actual cable, is extremely long. You can get almost anywhere you need to get on a small to mid-sized stage. After that, I don't think you need to worry about length because most of the time the shows that you're probably going to do on large stages are going to have some kind of power drop situation where they have a cable that comes to you and it's got a couple of outlets on it. So this needs to be the last thing in. This needs to be one of the last things in. So that's in, that needs to stay. All right, that means that one of the last things that I need to pull out are all the cables for my control pedals. So that needs to be one of the first things in. Let's go and wrap this nicely. Well, actually, before I wrap it, hold on. All right, let's see here. So I've got more cable ties. These cable ties that I'm using are these Velcro units. These are 10-inch cable ties, hook and loop, that I got from, I got in a pack for Walmart. I think they were $5. Walmart can be a musician's friend if you want it to be. Some people will trash talk Walmart, and that's fine until you are in the middle of Arkansas somewhere and you've just found out that you need 70 cable ties. And then Walmart is going to be your best friend. All right, let's see here. So let's get that wrapped. Okay. There's one. I'm going to do another one right about here. Try to keep these together as much as possible. Now, I'll address something while I'm doing the rest of this. What I want to address is, I'm sure that by now anyone that's a Nord user or a keyboard player is wondering, well, why don't you just split your keyboard and use the bass that's on the Nord and send that out discreetly to its own channel? And that's because either Nord will not do it, or I haven't found a way. I can split the keyboard, but I cannot send the signal out discreetly. In other words, I can't send the left side. If I want the left side to be the bass and the right side to be the keyboard, there's no real way to do that. So what that does is it gives me two different signals to send to the board. But that, and honestly, it's just easier for me to play it on a separate keyboard, because then I can split the Nord and use it for two different keyboard parts, not really worry about it being a bass instrument. Okay, now nice and clean. Now, one of these cables is longer than the other two. That's just something I have to live with. All right, so this will be one of the last things out, so it needs to be one of the first things in. All right, now if I ever want to run stereo, I'll go ahead and keep this cable in there as a just in case, which means that I've got now some XLR cables and this 1/4 inch that needs to be my just in case cable, which means that I'm starting to mount up a pile of stuff here. Look at this extra cable. This is keyboard power. Let's put that here. And then main power. Main power needs to be first, so you make sure you got power to everything. So that's going to go there. Now, I can either, at this point, make a decision as to putting these here, or I could just stop being lazy and get this in. It's an extra box. Now that's one more piece of gear that I've got to carry around, which I'm not crazy about. But the other thing that I have to resign to the fact is that it will keep all my cables better longer. Now the other thing that I like to carry around in here every once in a while is iPhone charger, because I keep an iPhone on my keyboard stand, not just for looking up lyrics, but I also have to keep track of time. And you're like, why are you using an iPhone to look up lyrics? It's because I can, and it's a lower profile than an iPad. iPads are huge and they're cumbersome. All right, now the microphones need to stay in there, so the microphones are going back in. And then this nifty unit. You're wondering what this is, I'm sure. If you're a bicycle rider or a motorcycle rider, you might already know what this is. Basically, after looking on all of these online music sellers, and I won't mention them because I like a lot of them, but these online music sellers, they want to sell iPhone clamps to go on your microphone stand or your keyboard stand, and they'll cost about $60 and upwards, you know, between $30 and $60 to start. So what I did was, I went down and I bought this, which is an iPhone holder for your bicycle. And this fits real neatly on the X stand that I use to play with. Now I also have a keyboard shell that I built that I'll put my keyboards in, and this clamps on there nicely and will clamp down real tight, and it will not move. And just so you have an example of what that's like, just stretches out like that. And now it's stationary, and I can turn the camera on by accident. So there you go. All right. Now then, I think that just about does it. This is just gonna lay in there. I'll put it here. Seems to be room. Now, you're probably wondering to yourself, why didn't you tape this down and why didn't you tape that down? And I'm pretty sure I already covered it in the video. However, I'm not exactly sure that I want these to stay there. So I'm not taping these yet. Once I'm sure that I know that I'm gonna do a show with them, we'll figure out if this is a good workflow for me or not. If it's not, I'll change it again. This is the problem and fun of being a musician, is you're forever trying to find solutions to problems that really no one else has. This lid will go back on. Should go back on a lot easier now that I've got all that stuff out. And if I ever build my own pedal board from scratch, we'll do a video about that. Make sure they align. This thing has seen better days. Okay, and voila, we're done. Ready to go to the gig. This is my rig. Here's the pedal board. It fits right in between the X stand, just like that. And I'll do some adjusting here. Well, this turned into a little bit longer video than I wanted it to. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. I hope that I help you come up with some solutions of your own. Can't wait to see you for the next set of videos. If you like this video and you want to see more content like this, please leave some comments below. Also, if you're a keyboard player and you've been playing for a long time and you've got some hacks that you'd like to share, please write them in the comments. I would love to know. I'd love to try them out. Also, obviously, like, subscribe. That's the only way this channel is going to grow. And I am looking forward to doing more of these for you. Till the next time, everybody, let's keep looking up.